For millions of years, dinosaurs ruled the earth without challenge. They hunted, they killed, they dominated. But apex predators only exist until something stronger arrives. On a forgotten island once built to control monsters, the jungle breathes again, unaware that it has just been chosen as a hunting ground. High above the clouds, a heat signature appears. Not human, not animal. And deep in the trees, a Tyrannosaurus rex lifts its head, sensing, for the first time in its life, that it is being watched. The night of Isla Nublar is thick with humidity, the air heavy and unmoving, as if the island itself is holding its breath. Moonlight spills through broken clouds, illuminating the skeletons of collapsed structures, half consumed by vines. Rusted fences, shattered observation towers, concrete walls clawed apart by something stronger than steel. Nature has reclaimed everything. It always does. Somewhere inland, the jungle erupts with sound. Insects scream, birds scatter, leaves tremble as something enormous moves through the undergrowth. The Tyrannosaurus rex emerges from the trees like a living catastrophe. Scarred, older, heavier than it once was. Her hide bears the marks of countless battles, claw gouges from rivals, burn scars from weapons long forgotten. This is not the attraction she once was. This is a survivor. She pauses. Her massive head tilts slightly, nostrils flaring. The wind carries unfamiliar scents, burned metal, ozone, something sharp and wrong. The jungle has always spoken to her through vibrations and scent trails, through fear. Tonight it speaks differently. Tonight it whispers uncertainty. Far above the island, something punches through the atmosphere without sound. No fireball, no trail. Just a distortion. Air bending around a descending shape as it cloaks itself from sight. The stars briefly ripple, like reflections in disturbed water, then settle again. Whatever has arrived does not announce itself. It never does. The object drops silently beyond the tree line, sinking into the jungle canopy without a sound loud enough to be mistaken for impact. Leaves shiver, branches snap and settle. Then nothing. A faint hum pulses once and stops. In the darkness, beneath towering ferns and ancient trees, a shape materializes. Light bends backward as a tall, broad-shouldered figure decloaks, revealing armored limbs etched with alien symbols, a biomask glowing faintly as it powers up. The predator stands motionless, rain sliding off its armor, head turning slowly as its vision shifts through spectrums unseen by human eyes. Thermal signatures bloom across its vision, small animals first, then larger ones, blazing like living furnaces against the cooler jungle floor. The predator's breathing is calm, controlled. This is not fear. This is assessment. Then it sees her. The Tyrannosaurus rex burns brighter than everything else, a towering inferno of muscle and heat moving through the trees, each footstep sending tremors through the ground. The predator watches her for several long seconds. Its head tilts, mirroring her earlier motion. Data scrolls across the inside of the mask. Size, mass, threat level. A low, almost reverent sound escapes the predator's throat. This world is not primitive. This world is perfect. The rex roars, a thunderous declaration that shakes leaves loose from the canopy and echoes across the island. It is not a challenge. It is a statement of dominance, broadcast to anything foolish enough to listen. The predator does not move. Instead, a faint clicking sound resonates from behind the mask, slow and deliberate. The hunter raises its wrist, activating a holographic interface. Ancient glyphs glow briefly as the creature marks a new hunting ground, a new proving trial. This is no random excursion, this is ritual. Somewhere deeper in the jungle, smaller predators react. Velociraptors freeze mid-stalk, heads snapping toward the distant roar. Herd animals scatter without understanding why. The island's delicate hierarchy begins to fracture, instinct screaming warnings it has never needed before. The Rex moves again, pushing through the jungle, drawn by the same disturbance she cannot name. Her eyes scan the darkness, searching for movement, for weakness, for something to kill. She has never known fear, but she knows intrusion. High in the trees, branches shift as the predator leaps effortlessly from limb to limb, tracking her without sound. It studies the sway of her tail, the rhythm of her steps, the scars that speak of experience rather than age. This is not prey. This is a test. Rain begins to fall, sudden and heavy, drumming against leaves and armor alike. The predator pauses, perched above the jungle floor, rain streaking down its mask. It watches the Rex disappear into the mist, her heat signature fading, but never vanishing. The hunter activates its cloak once more, its form dissolving into rippling air. The hunt has begun. And on Isla Nublar, for the first time since the fall of Jurassic World, something walks the jungle that does not belong to Earth, something that does not fear extinction, something that came here on purpose. The jungle does not wake. It is already alive. Mist clings to the forest floor as dawn breaks over Isla Nublar, pale light spilling through fractured clouds and catching on broken steel ribs that once held glass and dreams. The ruins of Jurassic World stand like a graveyard of human ambition. Collapsed monorail tracks draped in vines, observation decks swallowed by moss, rusted gates torn open and left to rot, no alarm sound, no fences hum. There is no containment left to fail. Nature has finished the job. A herd of hadrosaurs moves through what was once Main Street, their massive bodies scraping against toppled signage as they feed on creeping vegetation that has cracked the pavement apart. A juvenile strays too far from the group. The air tightens, the jungle listens. From the shadows, a pair of velociraptors emerge, lean and scarred, eyes sharp with practiced patience. These are not the animals humans once studied behind glass. These raptors have survived seasons of blood and scarcity. Their movements are quieter now, smarter. They circle without sound, communicating through flicks of the eye and subtle shifts of posture. The ambush is fast, brutal, over in seconds. The herd scatters, thunder rolling through the ruins as the raptors feed. This is the rhythm of Isla Nublar now. No balance, no mercy, only dominance earned and defended every day. Farther inland, the jungle grows thicker, darker. The absence of the Indominus Rex has not brought peace. It has brought competition. Territories overlap. Predators push boundaries. Every clearing is contested ground, every riverbank a potential battlefield. A triceratops herd grazes near the remains of a collapsed paddock, their horns chipped and dulled from constant use. One lifts its head suddenly, eyes narrowing. The ground vibrates, not from the herd, but from something deeper, heavier. The vibrations pass beneath them and fade. The triceratops snorts uneasily, stamping the earth, but the threat does not reveal itself. Elsewhere, the river churns violently as something massive moves beneath the surface. Fish scatter. A long, ridged shape glides just below the waterline, unseen, but unmistakable in its wake. The river belongs to something ancient and angry now, and everything else knows to stay away. The island breathes violence. High winds tear through the canopy as storm clouds gather again, the weather as unstable as the ecosystem below. Lightning flashes, briefly illuminating the skeletal remains of a Mosasaurus feeding platform near the coast. Its cables snapped, its machinery corroded beyond recognition. The ocean crashes against the rocks with relentless force, as if trying to reclaim the island entirely. Then, without warning, the ground shudders. It is subtle at first, a low tremor barely enough to disturb loose leaves from branches. Birds burst from the trees in panicked flocks, screaming into the sky. Raptors freeze mid-motion, heads snapping in the same direction. Across the island, predators and prey alike pause, instincts screaming a warning they cannot explain. Another tremor follows, stronger this time. Deep beneath the jungle floor, something reverberates. Metallic, rhythmic, wrong, trees sway, dust shakes loose from ancient concrete ruins. The vibrations are not random, they move slowly, purposefully. The Tyrannosaurus rex emerges onto a ridgeline overlooking the ruins, her massive form silhouetted against the storm-dark sky. Rain streaks down her scarred hide as she plants her feet, feeling the tremor through bone and muscle. Her yellow eyes narrow, tracking the source with predatory focus. This island knows her. It fears her. But this disturbance does not retreat. She releases a low rumble, not a roar, something more cautious. The sound rolls through the jungle, a warning sent through the bones of the land itself. Somewhere far below, something answers, not with sound, but with motion. Another tremor, closer. The Rex steps forward, muscles tensing. She is not challenged often anymore. When she is, it is usually brief. This feels different. Rain intensifies, hammering the leaves and ruins alike as the tremors continue, now unmistakably moving inland. Trees bend as something passes through the undergrowth without concern for stealth or fear. Whatever has entered Isla Nublar does not behave like prey. In the distance, a dead paddock fence collapses inward with a metallic groan, pulled free by forces stronger than time and rust. The sound echoes unnaturally far. The Rex roars then, full, thunderous, a declaration of ownership that shakes the jungle to its roots. It is a challenge hurled at the unseen intruder, a promise of violence to come. The tremors do not stop. They change direction. And for the first time since humans fled Isla Nublar, the island itself seems to realize a truth it was never meant to face. This is no longer just a world of monsters. Something has arrived that hunts them. The jungle canopy shatters. Branches explode outward as something moves through the upper levels of the forest with inhuman speed, leaping from tree to tree without disturbing the ground below. Rain sheets through the leaves, turning the world into a blur of motion and shadow. For a brief instant, the air itself ripples, then steadies. Perched high above the jungle floor, the predator comes to a halt. It crouches on a massive limb, talons gripping bark that cracks under its weight. This one is young, its armor is lighter, less ornamented than those of veteran hunters, its mask etched with fewer marks of honor. No trophies hang from its belt, no scars decorate its armor. Unblooded, but not unprepared. The hunter's breathing is slow, controlled. Its mask hums softly as vision modes cycle, thermal, electromagnetic, ultraviolet, layering the jungle into a living map of movement and heat. Everywhere, life burns. Too much life, too many targets. The predator tilts its head, studying the terrain below. This world is not like the others. No cities, no machines still running, no organized prey species, only raw ecosystems locked in endless conflict. A proving ground. The hunter extends its wrist. A holographic projection flares to life, alien symbols rotating slowly as the predator begins its ritual. It marks the planet, marks the region, then pauses, claws hovering over the final glyph. Claim. The symbol locks in place. Isla Nublar is chosen. Below, the jungle erupts in sudden motion. A pack of velociraptors bursts from the undergrowth, sprinting through the ruins of a collapsed visitor center. 4 of them, lean, scarred, efficient. Their bodies are low to the ground, eyes scanning constantly, tails balancing every shift in direction. They move like soldiers, not animals. The predator's mask focuses instantly. Targets acquired. The hunter watches without moving, analyzing their formation. One raptor leads, larger with a torn ear and a deliberate pace, the alpha. 2 flank wide, weaving between fallen columns. The 4th lags slightly behind, younger, less disciplined. A weakness. The predator emits a faint clicking sound, barely audible beneath the rain. Excitement, recognition. These creatures are not mindless beasts. They hunt, they adapt, they learn. Worthy. The raptors stop abruptly. The alpha lifts its head, nostrils flaring. A low hiss ripples through the pack. They fan out instinctively, claws flexing, eyes tracking something they cannot see. One of them snaps its head upward, staring directly at the predator's position. For a moment, hunter and prey lock eyes. The predator does not move. The raptor chirps, a sharp, questioning call, no response. The pack waits, muscles coiled, every sense screaming danger. Rain runs down their scaled hides, dripping from hooked claws. Then the jungle answers. A pulse of blue-white light flashes briefly across the predator's wrist as it activates a scanning dart. The projectile fires soundlessly, vanishing into the foliage. It embeds itself in the ground near the raptors and releases a silent wave of data. The predator's vision fills with schematics, bone density, muscle mass, reaction times. The raptors glow with potential, speed, intelligence, and pack coordination. The hunter's claws curl slowly. First blood. Without warning, the predator leaps. The branch snaps behind it as the hunter drops through the canopy, cloak flaring briefly as it reorients midair. It lands behind the youngest raptor without a sound, the jungle masking its arrival perfectly. The raptor turns. Too late. A bladed wrist snaps forward. Blood sprays hot against the rain as the raptor collapses, spine severed in a single, precise strike. The body hits the ground with a wet thud. The pack explodes into motion. The alpha shrieks a piercing, furious call and charges straight at the predator's last known position. The others scatter, flanking wide, claws tearing into earth and concrete as they move. But the predator is already gone. The cloak reactivates. Air bends, rain splits around an invisible shape, moving at impossible speed. One raptor lunges, jaws snapping on empty space. A split second later, something yanks it backward into the shadows. Bones crunch. The scream is cut short. The remaining 2 raptors regroup instantly, backs to each other, heads darting in sharp, calculating movements. They are afraid, but they are not panicking. The alpha tilts its head, listening. A faint clicking echoes from everywhere at once. The predator decloaks briefly, standing 10 feet away, fully visible. Armor gleaming wetly, mask glowing. It does not attack. It wants them to see, to understand. The alpha roars and lunges. The predator raises its wrist. A red targeting grid flickers to life, locking onto the raptor's chest. The hunter does not fire. Instead, it steps back, letting the cloak swallow it once more. The raptor crashes into empty space, skidding across the wet ground, confused, enraged. High above, perched once again among the trees, the predator watches the surviving raptors retreat into the jungle, carrying fear with them like a contagion. The hunter lowers its wrist and activates a new glyph on its display. 3 skull-shaped icons appear. Marked. The predator turns its gaze deeper into Isla Nublar toward larger heat signatures moving far beyond the trees. This was only the beginning. The hunt has rules now. The jungle goes quiet. Not the peaceful quiet of dawn or rain, but the sudden, unnatural absence of sound that follows a kill too clean to warn anyone else. No insects, no birds. Even the wind seems to hesitate as it slips through the trees. 3 velociraptors move through the undergrowth in perfect formation, their bodies low, eyes scanning, claws barely brushing the wet earth. They are not fleeing now. They are hunting. The alpha leads them, scarred, deliberate, every movement measured. It remembers the flash of light, the missing packmate, the scent of blood that vanished too quickly. Whatever stalks this jungle is not prey. It is a rival. The raptors split without a sound. One circles wide through the ferns, another climbs the fractured remains of a viewing platform, claws finding purchase on rusted steel. The alpha advances straight ahead, head tilting as it listens for a mistake. Above them, unseen, the predator watches. Its cloak shimmers faintly as it adjusts position among the branches, rain sliding off invisible armor. The hunter studies their spacing, their timing. They are learning, adapting. This pleases it. The predator triggers a small device from its belt. A disc-shaped blade spins silently into the air, embedding itself in a tree trunk behind the raptors with a muted thud. The alpha freezes. The sound is wrong, too controlled. The raptor lifts its head, pupils narrowing. It clicks softly, a command. The pack tightens formation, muscles coiling. Too late. The predator drops. It decloaks mid-fall, crashing down behind the raptor perched on the platform. The impact splinters rotted wood as the hunter lands in a crouch, blade already extended. The raptor turns, shrieking. The blade flashes. The raptor's head separates cleanly, tumbling across the platform before vanishing into the foliage below. The body collapses without a sound. The jungle erupts. The remaining 2 raptors scream and charge from opposite sides, jaws snapping, claws slashing where the predator stood a moment before. The hunter vanishes again, cloak reactivating as teeth close on empty air. One raptor skids to a halt, confused, nostrils flaring. The other leaps blindly, slashing at distortion in the rain. A net snaps outward. Alien mesh wraps around the raptor mid-leap, constricting instantly. The creature slams into the ground, shrieking as the net tightens, crushing ribs, pinning limbs. The predator steps into view, looming over it, studying the panic in its eyes. The raptor snaps, teeth clamping onto the predator's forearm armor. Sparks fly. The hunter snarls, angered but impressed. With a sharp twist, it drives its wrist blades downward. The raptor goes still. The alpha roars. It lunges from the undergrowth with explosive speed, claws raking across the predator's shoulder as it connects. The impact sends both of them skidding through mud and leaves. The alpha is relentless, jaws snapping, talons carving deep grooves into alien armor. The predator stumbles once. Just once. The alpha presses the advantage, biting down hard on the predator's thigh plating, tearing loose a strip of armor. Hot blood, green and luminous, splashes onto the jungle floor. The raptor recoils, startled by the scent. The predator rises. There is no hesitation now, no testing. The hunter roars, deep, guttural, alien, and charges. The 2 collide in a blur of violence. The alpha slashes across the predator's chest. The hunter counters, blades punching through muscle and bone. The raptor collapses. The jungle falls silent again. Rain patters softly against leaves and armor. The predator stands over the fallen alpha, breathing hard. It looks down at the creature for a long moment, then kneels. With deliberate care, it removes the raptor's skull. The hunter moves through the jungle afterward with purpose, stringing its trophies where they can be seen. A skull hangs from a broken gate near the visitor center. Another is mounted high in the branches overlooking a game trail. Blood drips slowly, marking territory not with scent, but with warning. Other animals notice. Small predators vanish into hiding. Herbivores abandon feeding grounds they have used for years. The jungle adapts, but fear spreads faster than instinct can compensate. Somewhere far away, a deep, thunderous roar rolls across Isla Nublar. Then another, different, larger. Alpha calls, territorial signals that shake the ground and ripple through the bones of the island. Something immense has taken notice of the sudden silence where raptors once ruled. The predator stands atop a ruined structure, rain cascading off its armor as it surveys the island. It activates its display. New heat signatures bloom across its vision, bigger, hotter, moving with confidence. The hunter tilts its head, clicking softly as it logs the data. The jungle has learned a new rule tonight. Even the clever die. And now the kings are coming. The trees break before she does. The Tyrannosaurus Rex moves through the jungle with crushing inevitability, her bulk parting ancient growth as if it were tall grass. Rain slicks her scarred hide, tracing old wounds like maps of conquered ground. Each step lands with weight and authority. The earth answering with a dull, obedient tremor. This is her territory. It smells wrong. The air carries burned sap and metal, ozone lingering where no storm has passed. Trees stand scorched in narrow, precise lines, bark peeled back as if by lightning that struck with intent. The Rex lowers her head, nostrils flaring. She snorts, a low rumbling warning that vibrates through her chest. She follows the trail. The jungle grows quieter the farther she goes. No warning calls, no scurrying prey. Even insects seem to have learned restraint. She steps into a clearing near the ruins of a collapsed gate where blood darkens the ground in drying pools. Velociraptor blood, fresh. Her head lifts slowly. A skull hangs from the broken steel, swaying gently in the rain. The Rex freezes. She has killed raptors before, countless times. They die scattered, torn apart, left where they fall. This is wrong. The skull is clean, deliberate, displayed. Her lips curl back, exposing teeth the size of knives. A deep growl rolls from her throat, not loud enough to announce her presence, but heavy with threat. Something has violated her land. Something that does not understand the rules. High above, unseen, a shimmer slides between branches. The predator watches her through a lattice of shifting colors. Infrared floods the hunter's vision, and the Rex ignites into brilliance, an immense living furnace moving with slow, confident purpose. Data scrolls across the mask. Mass estimates climbing, threat indicators spiking, reaction predictions recalculating again and again. The hunter stills. This is not prey. This is legend. The Rex steps forward, jaws snapping around a hanging vine and tearing it free with a violent shake. She advances into the clearing, tail sweeping debris aside. Her eyes track the trees, the ruins, the air itself. She cannot see the hunter, but she feels it. The pressure of attention, the sense of being measured. She roars. The sound detonates through the jungle, a thunderclap of dominance that rattles ruins and sends distant animals fleeing. Birds erupt from the canopy in a frantic storm. The roar carries far, declaring ownership, daring the intruder to answer. The predator does not roar back. It shifts position, leaping to a higher perch, cloak rippling as rain beads split and reform around invisible armor. The hunter studies the Rex's movements, the swing of the head, the blind spots created by her size, the power stored in her legs. This will not be quick. This will not be easy. The Rex charges without warning. She barrels through the clearing, jaws snapping at empty space, tail smashing into a fallen concrete pillar and shattering it. Dust and rain explode into the air. She is testing the world, forcing the enemy to reveal itself. A flash of blue-white light streaks past her skull and detonates against a tree trunk, blasting bark outward in a shower of splinters. The Rex recoils, startled, then pivots instantly toward the source. Her eyes lock onto the scorched wound in the tree. She understands now. This thing bites from afar. The predator relocates again, moving with practiced ease, the shoulder-mounted plasma caster tracking her heat signature as it calibrates. A red targeting reticle flickers briefly across the Rex's massive torso, then vanishes. The hunter hesitates. Honor weighs heavy. This is not a kill for impatience or pride. This is a hunt that will be remembered. The Rex stalks forward, slower now, head low, eyes sweeping. She pauses near a shallow ravine, sniffing the air. Her muscles coil beneath her skin, ready to explode into motion. A net launcher fires. The alien mesh slams into her chest and expands instantly, wrapping around her torso and forelimbs. The Rex roars in fury, thrashing violently as the net tightens, cables biting into flesh. Trees snap. The ground churns. For a heartbeat, it looks as if she might fall. Then she surges upward with terrifying strength, muscles bulging as she tears the net apart strand by strand. Cables snap like wire under tension. She shakes free, roaring louder than before, eyes blazing with rage. The predator clicks sharply, surprised. The Rex lunges toward the last known position, jaws closing on nothing, as the hunter vanishes again. Her teeth slam together inches from invisible armor. The shock of it echoes. She skids to a halt, chest heaving, rain streaming down her snout. She knows now she is not alone. She knows now she is being hunted. High in the canopy, the predator steadies, locking its plasma caster into alignment once more. The reticle settles on the Rex's burning silhouette, perfectly framed through the rain and leaves. The hunter exhales slowly. This world has an apex, and it has just been challenged. The helicopter arrives without permission. Its rotors chop through the humid air above Isla Nublar, scattering mist and leaves as it descends toward a cracked landing pad half swallowed by jungle. The painted biosyn insignia on its side is faded, deliberately understated. No lights, no broadcast signals. This is not a rescue. It is a theft. The skids touch down hard. 5 figures spill out immediately, weapons raised, boots hitting wet concrete that hasn't felt human weight in years. Their movements are sharp, rehearsed. This is not a scientific expedition. It's a recovery op. They wear matte green armor, rain-beaded helmets, and carry compact rifles fitted with suppressors and scanning optics. Perimeter now! The team leader snaps over the open channel. Maya Cruz moves first, sweeping her rifle toward the tree line. She's seen this island in briefings, holograms, schematics, liability statements, but none of that prepared her for the smell. Rot, iron, old blood. The jungle presses close, breathing. Place gives me the creeps, mutters Havelock, and the team's tech specialist, already pulling a tablet from his chest rig. Signal's weak. Data vault should be 3 clicks inland. Eyes up, Cruz replies. Nothing here is dead unless you see it die. They move out in formation, the helicopter lifting away as quickly as it came, vanishing back into the clouds. The jungle closes behind them instantly, swallowing the sound of retreating blades. They don't see the shimmer above. High in the canopy, the predator watches them through thermal vision. 5 bright signatures cut through the cool green of the forest, weapons glowing faintly with residual heat. The hunter tilts its head, studying the shapes, the way they move together, the tools in their hands. Armed. Not prey by instinct. Not ignored by the code. The predator shifts position silently as the humans advance beneath it, cloak warping the rain around its outline. This complicates things. The Biosyn team reaches the ruins of an old service corridor, collapsed walls, exposed wiring hanging like dead vines. Havelock kneels, brushing moss from a rusted access panel. Vaults below us, he says. If the map's right, it survived the evacuation. A low sound echoes through the trees, not a roar, not wind. A click. Cruz freezes, raising her fist. Did you hear that? Before anyone can answer, the jungle explodes. A body vanishes upward in a blur of motion and screaming. 1 second, Carter is standing beside Cruz, rifle raised, mouth open mid-sentence. And the next he's gone, dragged straight into the canopy by something invisible. His scream cuts off abruptly, replaced by the wet crack of bone. Chaos. Contact! Cruz shouts as the team spins outward, rifles blazing. Muzzle flashes tear through the rain, lighting the ruins in strobing white. Bullets shred leaves, bark, stone, hitting nothing. Nothing visible. Havelock stumbles backward, firing wildly. What the hell took him? A shape flickers. The predator decloaks for a split second behind the rearmost soldier. Wrist blades extend with a metallic snap. The soldier turns. Too late. Blood sprays across the mossy concrete as the body drops. The predator recloaks instantly, moving again. Already gone. Cruz fires toward the distortion, rounds tearing through empty space. Her breath comes fast now, controlled but strained. This isn't a dinosaur. Dinosaurs charge. Dinosaurs roar. This thing hunts. Fall back, she orders. Back to the ruins. They retreat into the collapsed corridor, backs pressed against ancient walls as rainwater pours through broken ceilings. The jungle goes quiet again, as if watching. Havelock's hands shake as he reloads. Cruz. That wasn't an animal. A low, rhythmic clicking echoes through the corridor. Close. The predator steps into view at the far end of the hall, fully decloaked, tall, armored, mask glowing faintly. It does not attack immediately. It stands there, studying them, head tilting slightly, as if listening to something only it can hear. The humans stare in frozen disbelief. Cruz raises her rifle anyway. I don't know what you are, she says, voice steady through sheer will, but you picked the wrong island. The predator reacts not to her words but to her weapon. Its gaze locks onto the rifle, armed, threat, valid. A plasma bolt detonates against the wall beside Cruz, blasting concrete apart in a deafening explosion. She's thrown off her feet, slamming hard into the ground. Havelock screams as debris rains down around them. When the smoke clears, the predator is gone. Only the clicking remains, now everywhere. Cruz struggles to her knees, ears ringing, eyes wide with terror and clarity. She looks at the empty corridor, at the blood smeared across the walls, at the ruins that no longer feel abandoned. We're not alone, she whispers. High above, unseen once more, the predator watches the survivors regroup, recalculating. Humans, armed, witnesses. The hunt has changed, and someone else is listening now. The rain thins to a whisper, but the jungle does not relax. Maya Cruz leads what remains of her team through a narrow ravine, rifle raised, boots slipping in the mud. 2 soldiers now, herself and Havelock, moving with the tight, brittle precision of people who know they are being watched. Every shadow feels deliberate, every sound feels placed. Above them, the predator moves in silence. It tracks their heat signatures from the canopy, leaping branch to branch with predatory patience. The hunter does not rush. It watches how they move, how Cruz signals with her hand before stopping, how Havelock always checks behind, how they cover angles even when terrified. Hierarchy is clear. The female leads, the other follows. The predator's mask cycles through magnification, lingering on their weapons, rifles, ammunition, explosives, tools of war, armed prey. The ravine opens into a clearing littered with the remains of an old maintenance hub. Collapsed walls form half shelters, their interiors dark and choked with vines. Cruz raises her fist, bringing them to a halt.
"Movement discipline," she whispers. "We don't fire unless we see it."
Havelock swallows, nodding, sweat streaking through grime on his face. "If we see it," he mutters. They edge forward. A third figure stumbles into view from behind a fallen wall, a biosync contractor in civilian gear, unarmed, eyes wide with shock. He raises his hands instinctively when he sees Cruz, relief breaking through his fear. "Don't shoot," he pleads. I hid when it started. I didn't know where to..." A shimmer slides behind him. The predator appears directly at the man's back, towering wrist blades extended, then stops. The hunter's head tilts. The mask scans the civilian. No weapon, no threat posture, no aggression. The blades retract with a metallic whisper. The man never sees it. Instead, he hears a click behind him and screams, collapsing to his knees, sobbing, as the predator vanishes again without touching him. Cruz stares, frozen. It spared him. Her breath catches as understanding begins to form, terrifying and precise. "It's choosing," she whispers. "It's deciding." The jungle erupts again. A plasma bolt screams through the clearing and detonates against the maintenance hub wall, blasting stone and vegetation apart. Cruz and Havelock dive for cover as heat washes over them. The civilian scrambles away, screaming into the trees. The predator moves. It strikes from above, dropping onto Havelock's position with brutal speed. Havelock fires blindly, rounds sparking against armor. The predator absorbs the impacts, grabs the rifle barrel, and crushes it with one hand. Havelock stares up in horror. The wrist blades plunge down. Cruz shouts his name, but it's over before the sound finishes forming. The predator stands, retracting its blades as Havelock's body slumps lifelessly into the mud. It turns its masked gaze toward Cruz, who is already moving, firing controlled bursts as she retreats. The hunter does not pursue immediately. It watches how she moves. She uses cover. She reloads on the run. She changes direction unpredictably. When she stumbles, she recovers fast. Not prey behavior, not panic. The predator follows at a distance, observing. Cruz bursts into a wider clearing at the edge of the jungle, skidding to a halt as something massive moves beyond the trees. The Tyrannosaurus Rex steps into view, her enormous silhouette cutting through mist and rain, each step shaking the ground. Cruz freezes. The Rex lowers her head, eyes locking onto the human. A low growl rolls from her chest, not hunger but irritation. Another intrusion. From the tree line, the predator watches both of them. Human. Apex beast. The hunter's mask shifts, isolating the Rex's heat signature. It flares brilliant and overwhelming, dwarfing everything else in the clearing. Data scrolls faster now. Threat levels spike, predictions branch and collapse. The predator understands something new. These humans do not rule this world. They move within it. They know it's monsters. Cruz slowly lowers her rifle, breath shallow, eyes never leaving the Rex. She takes a step back, careful, deliberate. The Rex snorts, torn between interest and annoyance. A distant click echoes. The Rex snaps her head toward the sound, roaring in fury as she charges into the trees, vanishing after the disturbance with thunderous force. Cruz stares after her, stunned. She doesn't see the predator decloak behind her. The hunter stands close enough that she can feel the heat of it, but it does not attack. It studies her. Her empty hands, her controlled fear, her awareness. Then it steps back, recloaks, and disappears. Cruz collapses to her knees, gasping, alive only because she was allowed to be. High above, the predator moves again, eyes tracking the path the Rex carved through the jungle. Humans are not the prize. They are the guide. And the hunt has just become strategic. The jungle moves differently now, not with panic, but with intent. Morning fog coils low over the forest floor as a herd of triceratops gathers in a wide clearing near the ruins of an old paddock. Their massive bodies press close together, horns outward, forming a living wall of bone and muscle. Calves are forced to the center. The adults stomp and snort, eyes scanning the tree line. They have learned. Isolation means death. A shadow glides across the canopy. The predator watches from above, crouched on a massive branch slick with moss. Its mask studies the herd, calculating vectors, angles, weak points. Normally, this would be simple, separate one, provoke a charge, exploit overcommitment. But the herd does not break. When the predator drops a decoy sound emitter to the left, the triceratops shift as one, horns turning, formation tightening. No straggler panics, no lone animal bolts. The hunter clicks softly, irritated. Adaptation. It withdraws, moving on. Farther east, the jungle narrows into a corridor of stone and roots where the ruins choke movement into single-file paths. The predator advances cautiously, cloak active, plasma caster idle. Its vision picks up motion, small, fast heat signatures flickering ahead. Raptors. Not charging. Waiting. The first raptor strikes from above, leaping from a fallen tree trunk with claws extended. The predator twists aside, blades flashing, catching the creature midair and hurling it into the brush. Another raptor darts in low, snapping at the hunter's leg. A third slashes from behind. This is not a hunt. This is a trap. The predator disengages, leaping backward as raptors pour in from the undergrowth. 5 of them, scarred, disciplined, their movements eerily coordinated. They herd the hunter into the narrow corridor, snapping and feinting, forcing it toward uneven ground. A raptor screams, a signal. The ground gives way. The predator drops suddenly as a camouflaged pit collapses beneath its weight, concealed beneath leaves and debris. It hits hard, armor slamming into rock. Before it can recover, a raptor leaps down, claws raking across the hunter's shoulder. Pain flares. Real pain. The predator roars as it drives its blades upward, impaling the raptor through the chest. Green blood spills as the hunter pulls itself free of the pit, cloak flickering erratically. Another raptor lunges, teeth clamping onto the predator's thigh. The hunter slams it against the wall, bones cracking, but the damage is done. Blood runs. The predator stumbles once as it reaches open ground, armor scorched and torn, luminous blood dripping onto the jungle floor. It vanishes into the trees, cloaks stabilizing with effort. The raptors do not pursue. They watch. Across the island, the jungle reacts. The scent of alien blood spreads, sharp and electric. Small predators follow it briefly, then flee. Larger ones pause, lift their heads and listen. Something powerful has been wounded. Something that was not supposed to be. The predator moves through the canopy at reduced speed now, favoring one leg. It pauses on a high ridge overlooking the jungle. rain washing green blood from its armor in thin glowing streams. The hunter removes its mask briefly, exposing mandibles slick with rain and breath coming heavier than before. It applies a med kit to the wound, cauterizing flesh with a hiss of steam and pain. The injury closes, but not completely. This world has teeth. A distant rumble rolls across Isla Nublar. Not thunder, not the wrecks. Something else. The predator's head snaps up as its sensors flare wildly. The sound repeats, deeper, heavier, resonating through water and stone alike. Trees sway, birds scatter in panicked waves. The hunter activates long-range scanning. A massive heat signature blooms near the river systems, elongated, aggressive, moving with territorial confidence. The data does not match anything the predator has catalogued before. Its breathing slows. This is no coincidence. The island is responding. Below, raptors retreat into cover, melting back into the jungle they have reshaped with blood and memory. The Triceratops herd begins moving again, formation intact, horns still outward. Nature has found its footing. The predator reattaches its mask and straightens, wounded but unbroken. It looks out over Isla Nublar as the distant roar echoes once more, closer now, angrier. The hunter clicks, low and deliberate. This world is no longer prey. It is an opponent. And something in the jungle has just announced itself, something that does not roar like a tyrant or scream like a raptor. Something that sounds like a challenge. The river explodes. Water erupts skyward in a violent surge as something massive moves beneath the surface, displacing thousands of gallons in a single angry motion. The current twists unnaturally, slamming into the banks hard enough to tear roots free from the mud. Fish scatter in silver flashes before vanishing entirely. Then the sail breaks the surface. It rises slowly at first, ridged, scarred, taller than the surrounding reeds, cutting through the mist like a blade. Rain slicks along its length as the Spinosaurus lifts its head from the water, jaws parting to release a low, thunderous bellow that rolls across the river basin and into the jungle beyond. This is not a roar of dominance. It is a declaration of ownership. The Spinosaurus holds itself under the bank with terrifying ease, claws sinking deep into the wet earth. It is larger than memory, heavier. Its hide thickened by years of unchecked survival. Old scars crisscross its snout and sail, evidence of battles fought and won long after humans believed it gone. The river belongs to it now. Far above, perched among the branches overlooking the waterway, the predator watches. Its mask zooms in, scanning the colossal heat signature as it moves with brutal confidence along the bank. The Spinosaurus burns white-hot in thermal vision, eclipsing everything around it. Mass estimates spike past acceptable engagement thresholds. Threat calculations loop and fail. The predator stills. This is not prey behavior. This is territorial dominance. The Spinosaurus lowers its head and snaps its jaws into the water, dragging a struggling carcass onto the shore. Some unfortunate herbivore caught too close to the river's edge. Bones crack effortlessly as the creature feeds, blood staining the water dark red. It eats fast, aggressively, eyes constantly scanning its surroundings. Not afraid. The predator shifts position, wincing slightly as its injured leg takes weight. Its cloak flickers for a fraction of a second before stabilizing. The hunter adjusts its stance, recalculating angles, noting blind spots that don't exist. The Spinosaurus moves with awareness, constantly turning, tail lashing, water churning around it. This one has learned war. A sudden splash ripples across the river upstream as the Spinosaurus lifts its head sharply, nostrils flaring. It stares into the trees, eyes narrowing. Something is there. The predator freezes. For the first time since arriving on Isla Nublar, the hunter feels something close to caution. It activates a micro-drone, sending it skimming silently over the water toward the Spinosaurus. The device feeds data back instantly, muscle density readings off the scale, bite force estimates eclipsing even the Tyrannosaurus rex. The drone gets too close. The Spinosaurus lunges with shocking speed, jaws snapping shut mid-air. The drone disappears in a crunch of metal and sparks. The predator clicks sharply, involuntary. The Spinosaurus roars again, louder now, angrier, spinning towards the canopy. It slams its tail into the river, sending a wave crashing against the bank. Trees shudder. Branches snap, the water surges violently. The message is clear. Come closer and die. The predator retreats silently, leaping backward through the canopy, putting distance between itself and the river. It lands hard on a higher ridge, breathing controlled but heavier now. Its mask continues tracking the Spinosaurus as it wades back into the water, submerging most of its massive form until only the sail and eyes remain visible. An ambush predator. The hunter lowers its plasma caster slightly. This changes everything. Across Isla Nublar, the effect is immediate. The river systems fall silent. Smaller predators abandon the banks entirely. Herbivores cluster far from the water, risking starvation rather than venturing close. Even the Tyrannosaurus rex pauses at the edge of the jungle, watching the distant sail cut through mist with wary calculation. Two kings now share the island, and neither yields. The predator activates its wrist display, rotating a holographic map of Isla Nublar. The river systems glow ominously, now marked in warning glyphs. The hunter marks the Spinosaurus with a symbol unlike the others, larger, pulsing, reserved. Not trophy. Trial. A deep rumble echoes again, closer this time, as the Spinosaurus thrashes in the water, asserting dominance with raw force. The sound rolls through the jungle, reaching even the highest ridges. The predator stands still, rain washing over armor, stained faintly with its own blood. It studies the map, then looks back toward the river, mask glowing softly in the darkness. For the first time since the hunt began, the hunter does not advance. It watches. It waits. And somewhere deep within the predator's code, an unspoken truth settles into place. This is no longer a proving ground. This is a battlefield where survival, not honor, will decide who remains. The predator locks its gaze onto the Spinosaurus' burning silhouette through the trees and hesitates. The jungle falls silent. Rain has stopped, leaving only mist and the faint smell of wet earth. Every leaf, every blade of grass seems frozen in anticipation. Even the river, swollen from the storms, runs sluggish, reflecting fractured shards of grey sky. Something is coming, and everything alive feels it. High in the canopy, the predator crouches on a massive branch, inspecting its reflection in a shallow pool of rainwater collected on rusted metal. Its armor is battered, scratched, streaked with blood, alien and dinosaur alike, but it moves with deliberate precision, adjusting plates, recalibrating its plasma caster. Wrist blades are polished, nets sharpened, and a small device hums with cold energy on its shoulder. The hunter prepares for the ultimate confrontation. Below, the flooded ruins of the old visitor center stretch like a drowned labyrinth. Concrete walls, twisted steel, and shattered glass are half submerged, forming islands among the murky water. The predator lands softly on a collapsed staircase, scanning the currents. The Spinosaurus is near, its massive heat signature pulsing into the hunter's visor, moving along the river with lethal intent. A human voice breaks the stillness. Maya Cruz and her remaining team have taken cover on the edge of the ruins, rifles trembling in their hands. They watch from a distance, eyes wide with disbelief, realizing the scale of what they witness. It's hunting it, Havelock whispers, barely audible. 2 apex predators, the whole island's their battlefield. Cruz swallows hard, scanning the area. Don't move, don't even breathe, we are. Ghosts here. The predator crouches low, infrared scanning, overlaying movement vectors across the shattered terrain. It notes every ripple of the Spinosaurus in the water, every angle of approach, every exposed flank. Unlike before, this hunt is not about speed or stealth alone. It is about dominance, preparation, and perfection. The Spinosaurus thrashes in the flooded ruins, forcing a small group of Compsognathus to scatter. Its jaws snap at floating debris, muscle rippling, sail flexing with sheer power. Every movement asserts territorial authority. Every hiss and bellow resonates across the water, shaking loose old beams and cracking concrete. The predator adjusts, toggling a new mode on its wrist display. High-powered nets now enhanced with grappling cables, micro-drone scouts ready for deployment, plasma caster charged for precision strikes. It is a war machine made for one purpose, one kill. Then it moves. Leaping silently from perch to perch, the hunter follows the Spinosaurus through the flooded ruins, keeping to the high ground where the water cannot touch. Its feet land on shattered beams, twisting steel, slippery moss, calculating, patient, invisible. The Spinosaurus roars, a sound that shakes the mist and echoes through broken walls. The predator halts for a fraction of a second, mask glowing faintly. Heat sensors flare. This is no ordinary kill. The danger here exceeds anything it has faced. Every instinct tells it to strike carefully, to plan, to respect the strength of its opponent, yet bloodlust courses through its veins, trophy or death. The choice is binary. One will fall, one will rise. Below, Cruz and Havelock can barely watch, hearts pounding. Every step of the predator, every ripple from the Spinosaurus is magnified through fear. They realize that any wrong movement, any noise, could make them collateral pieces of this godlike hunt, sacrificed without hesitation. The predator crouches on the top of a half-submerged wall. Its visor zooms to frame the Spinosaurus as it wades through the ruined pool, massive claws tearing through debris. The hunter's head tilts. There is respect in the alien posture, a rare acknowledgement of true power. Then both apex hunters pause. The Spinosaurus senses it, raising its sail, tilting its head. The predator clicks softly, almost imperceptibly. A signal, a calculation. Both recognize the other's intent, a mutual understanding before the inevitable chaos. The jungle holds its breath. Even the water stills, the wind stops, and the birds vanish. Cruz exhales slowly, whispering, "It's coming." And she knows this is more than a hunt. This is survival on a scale no human has ever witnessed. The first move will decide life or extinction. High above, the predator crouches, muscles coiled, plasma caster aimed, wrist blades gleaming. The Spinosaurus, massive and unyielding, arches its back and lets out a roar that cracks through the flooded ruins. 2 apex hunters. 1 island. Silence before the storm. The jungle waits. The jungle trembles. The last human voices echo through the flooded ruins, shouts, screams, and then silence. Maya Cruz fires her rifle one final time, muzzle flashes illuminating the broken concrete and twisted metal of the half-submerged visitor center. She doesn't see the Spinosaurus rising from the water behind her, sail cutting through the mist, teeth glinting like jagged knives. A single swipe of its massive claw sends her rifle skittering into the water. Her boots slip on wet concrete as she spins to face it, eyes wide with horror. The Spinosaurus lunges, jaws snapping shut inches from her chest, and she falls backward into the murky flood. Water churns around her as she struggles, trying to crawl to safety, but the predator of the river is relentless. High above, hidden in the canopy, the predator watches. Its mask displays the thermal chaos of the scene below. Humans burning bright, tiny heat signatures flickering against the colossal, incandescent heat of the Spinosaurus. The hunter clicks softly, an alien sound of calculation, but this time hesitation is sharp. The humans are supposed to be part of the rules, non-combatants or at least witnesses to honor. The Spinosaurus roars, snapping again and dragging crews beneath the water with terrifying strength. Her struggle is brief. The current, the claws, the bite. They are beyond survival. She vanishes. Havelock's last shot misses as the beast spins, and a tail sweep sends him flying into a wall of the ruins. He lands in a tangle of steel and mud, limbs twisted, gasping. Heat signatures flicker rapidly in the predator's display, and a low mechanical click reverberates through the hunter's mask. Code. Broken. The predator tilts its head, observing the carnage, claws flexing inside gauntlets. Honor dictated restraint, mercy dictated observation. But this slaughter is no longer sport. The Spinosaurus has taken what was not its to take. The human element, the witness to skill, has been erased. The hunter descends from the trees, landing silently on a broken stairway above the water. It kneels for a moment, pulling a long metallic device from its back, its final weapon, one used only in the gravest of hunts. The plasma caster hums with energy, the net launcher glints, and a hidden, jagged spear clicks into place in the wrist gauntlet. Every component is tuned for one purpose: absolute lethality. Below, the Spinosaurus feeds, massive jaws crunching bone, tail lashing water into walls of spray. The island seems to recoil at each blow, the jungle itself quivering. But the predator does not hesitate. The code of honor may have been violated, but instinct is immutable, personal. It is no longer a trial. The hunter scans the battlefield, evaluating vectors. Every move of the Spinosaurus is catalogued: strike range, tail sweep angles, blind spots, musculature. Sensors flare, thermal readings spike, data flows like a river of prediction. And then, in the shadow of the flooded ruins, the first move is made. The predator launches a micro-drone from its shoulder, small and silent, buzzing over the water toward the Spinosaurus. The beast senses it instantly, head snapping up, sail flaring, eyes narrowing. It swings its massive tail, smashing the drone into pieces, sparks showering into the mist. The hunter observes, unflinching. This is a test. Its turn has come. Rising from the stairway, the predator extends its wrist blades, plasma caster whirring softly, cloak stabilizing as it drops to the edge of the water. The surface ripples violently beneath the Spinosaurus as it spins, thrashing. Mud and debris fly in every direction. This is a confrontation of gods. The apex predator of the land versus the apex predator of the stars. The predator's breathing is steady. Mandibles click softly under the mask. Every instinct screams caution, but fury fuels precision. Honor is no longer about mercy. It is about rectifying the wrong, reclaiming the balance. From the trees above, the jungle is still. Birds do not move. Smaller predators slink away into hiding. Even the river holds its breath, stilling in reverence and fear. Two apex hunters face each other, the first blood already drawn, and the final engagement has begun. The predator steps forward, one leg planted firmly on submerged concrete. Wrist blades glint under broken sunlight, plasma ready, spear aligned. Every movement is deliberate, every calculation precise. The hunt has become personal. And then, for the first time since landing, a low, resonant roar reverberates, not just from the Spinosaurus, but through the hunter's chest, through the ruins, through the very bones of the island. The predator's senses flare again. The scale of what is about to unfold is absolute. The hunter's gaze locks onto the Spinosaurus's burning silhouette, armored body coiled like a spring, sail flexing, jaws snapping. A single thought pulses through the predator's mind, clear and relentless. Trophy or death. It steps forward. The world shatters. The Spinosaurus lunges from the river, claws tearing through submerged debris, teeth snapping with precision honed by years of dominance. The predator pivots on the edge of a crumbling wall, plasma caster glowing faintly, blades extended. Rain sluices over its armor, slicking it, but the hunter does not slip. Muscle, armor, and alien reflexes coil for the first strike. The clash begins with a sound that echoes across the island, a deafening roar met by a mechanical hiss. The predator leaps, blades slicing through the air, landing on the Spinosaurus's massive shoulder. The beast thrashes violently, tail smashing through concrete pillars, sending rubble flying in all directions. Water sprays over the jungle in walls of silver, misting the combatants in a surreal storm. A claw rakes across the predator's chest, tearing metal plating, leaving a jagged gash. Sparks flare where armor meets bone. The hunter pivots, spinning midair, driving its wrist blades into the Spinosaurus's neck. Screams of tearing flesh echo as the predator's mandibles clamp, but the beast does not falter. Its jaws snap, catching the hunter's forearm and hurling it against the submerged wall. Crouched in the wreckage, the predator flicks a micro-drone upward. It darts around the Spinosaurus, tracking weak points, providing tactical overlays. The Spinosaurus roars, swiping its tail, crushing the drone with one devastating sweep. Sparks and shredded metal rain into the flooded ruins. The predator lunges again, this time using the terrain, the half-submerged beams, broken stairs, and jagged concrete, to its advantage. It strikes from above, blades slicing into the Spinosaurus' flank. The creature thrashes, forcing the hunter to leap backward, claws grazing exposed flesh. Blood mingles with rainwater, turning the shallow pools into swirling red currents. Every movement is countered, every strike answered. The Spinosaurus bites down on a pillar, tearing it free, swinging it like a massive club. The predator rolls aside, barely avoiding the collision, and fires the plasma caster. A beam cuts into the creature's side, sizzling, burning, but not enough to stop it. The beast roars in fury, shaking the surrounding trees, sending birds scattering into grey skies. The jungle itself reacts. Trees snap under the force of tail sweeps. Flocks of Compsognathus scatter in all directions, fleeing the chaos. Even the Tyrannosaurus Rex pauses in the distance, watching the battle with wary calculation. Nothing moves here without consequence. The predator adapts mid-fight, feinting, darting, using stealth and strategy where brute force cannot prevail. It darts under the Spinosaurus's massive belly, slashing legs and thighs, each movement precise. Each strike calculated to weaken, not destroy outright. The Spinosaurus twists, jaws snapping, catching the predator's leg in a bone-jarring clamp. The hunter screams, an alien sound of fury and pain, forcing it to retract blades as the tail swings, smashing nearby walls, sending steel and stone into the water with deafening crashes. For a moment, both pause. The Spinosaurus breathes heavily, eyes narrowing, dripping blood from both wound and prey. The predator staggers, armor scorched, leg bleeding, plasma flickering. Rain sluices down their bodies, mixing blood and water into a surreal tableau of violence. They stare at each other. Two apex hunters, one born of Earth, one from the stars, each measuring, calculating, waiting for the next fatal opportunity. Then the final flurry begins. The Spinosaurus lunges, jaws snapping downward. The predator rolls, firing the plasma caster point blank, scorching the creature's side, and thrusts a wrist spear deep into its shoulder. The Spinosaurus bellows, thrashing violently, tail smashing walls, sending water and debris into every corner of the ruined courtyard. The hunter grips the spear, driving it harder, twisting with every ounce of strength, blades cutting deeper. The creature collapses onto its side with a ground-shaking crash, gasping, still alive, still dangerous, but broken. The predator stumbles back, chest heaving, mandibles clicking in exhausted triumph. Its armor is battered, its body bleeding, yet it stands, a victorious apex predator, crowned by battle and pain. Silence descends. The jungle, scarred and broken, holds its breath. The river flows red, half the ruins are smashed into rubble, and smaller creatures creep cautiously from cover, sensing the shift in dominance. The predator leans on its spear, observing the wounded Spinosaurus, acknowledging the magnitude of the encounter. Survival has been won, but at great cost. Every move, every calculation, every reflex has been tested against Earth's deadliest weapon. The hunter is victorious, but wounded, battered, and forever marked by the fight. Above, clouds break slightly, sunlight catching in droplets of rain, glittering on armor and scales alike. Two apex predators remain, one standing, one defeated, but alive. The balance of the island has shifted, but the jungle knows this. Nothing on Isla Nublar will ever be the same. The predator surveys the ruined battlefield, visor scanning, sensors flickering. It exhales slowly, clicking softly in quiet reverence. A new hierarchy has been carved into the land, and from the distant tree line something watches, curious, calculating, waiting. The war may be over for now, but the echoes of apex conflict will resonate across the island forever. The wind carries a strange stillness. The predator stands atop a jagged ridge overlooking the flooded ruins, armor battered, blooded, and streaked with rain. Its visor scans the landscape, lingering on the Spinosaurus's still smoking form below, massive body heaving with labored breaths. The battle is over, for now. But something in the hunter's mind hums with a deeper calculation. The fight was only the opening act. The hunter crouches, retrieving a device from its back. Sleek, alien, humming with quiet power, it unfolds into a long-range beacon, unlike anything built by human hands. Panels slide, circuits glow faintly, and an eerie pulse begins to resonate. A signal reaching far beyond the confines of Isla Nublar. The hunter's fingers dance across controls, fine-tuning frequency, duration, and intensity. This is not just a call. This is a summons. A subtle vibration runs through the ridge, the sensors flickering. Even the island seems to feel it. Birds flinch, flying off in tight flocks. The river churns, as if anticipating the coming disturbance. Somewhere in the dense jungle, a pack of raptors pauses, heads cocked, sensing a presence that is not immediately visible. High above, clouds begin to ripple unnaturally, silver lining edges glowing faintly. The predator watches, waiting. The beacon thrums faster, a silent heartbeat echoing in the hunter's chest. Its visor flares, showing multiple points of light, tiny heat signatures descending slowly but unmistakably from orbit. They are not alone. The predator tilts its head, clicking softly. Calculations scroll across the visor. These are Yautja, faster, stronger, armed with technology even more deadly than its own. They are hunters of legend, responding to the signal with surgical precision. This was never meant to be a solitary hunt. Below, the Spinosaurus stirs, sensing the vibrations in the air. Its massive head lifts, nostrils flaring. The creature's gaze sweeps the jungle as it senses the faint alien presence above, something it cannot yet see, but knows is coming. Its growl rumbles through water and mud, resonating like distant thunder. The predator adjusts the beacon, amplifying the pulse. Its breathing, measured and controlled, syncs with the thrum of energy. Each signature descending from orbit lights up the visor in patterns the human eye cannot perceive. Figures dropping silently through clouds, cloaked, scanning, evaluating. The hunter's body tenses, anticipation coiling like a spring. The jungle, already scarred from previous battles, seems to hold its breath. Trees sway as if bowing to the unseen presence. Water in the river stills unnaturally, and even the distant roar of the T-Rex halts mid-call. The apex predator, sensing something massive, yet unseen. The first descent streaks through the clouds, a Yautja dropping with lethal grace. Plasma caster charged, wrist blades extending, and cloak flickering intermittently. It lands softly in the trees, eyes locking immediately on the Spinosaurus below. The beacon's signal pulses again, confirming position, dominance, and intent. The predator watches its kin, evaluating their movements, noting their synchronization. This is no longer a solitary trial. This is a war of legends converging. A hunt of unparalleled scale is about to unfold, one that will test every predator on Isla Nublar. The Spinosaurus thrashes in response, sensing the presence of more than one alien hunter. Its roar echoes across the river and ruins, challenging the unseen invaders, muscles rippling, claws digging into mud and debris. It thrashes the water with violent, deliberate force, sending waves against submerged walls, announcing itself to the predators above. The predator crouches low, eyes narrowing behind the mask. Its claws flex, plasma caster humming softly. Every scar on its armor, every wound from the prior battle is a reminder of what is at stake. And now it is not just survival. It is strategy, honor, and dominance amplified. From the clouds above, multiple heat signatures appear, each descending silently, landing with the grace of hunters bred for war. Trees shudder under weight and force. The jungle vibrates with anticipation. The water thrums with tension, and even the distant mountains seem to echo with alien resonance. The first hunter lands near the flooded ruins, observing the Spinosaurus, calculating engagement strategies. Another drops silently into a nearby clearing, scanning the river with a predator's precision. Each Yautja moves as if part of a single organism, coordinated by the pulse of the beacon. The predator clicks softly, mandibles flexing beneath the mask. Its visor flares, tracking all movements, calculating angles, predicting behavior. The hunt that began as a solitary test has now escalated into a full-scale apex convergence. Somewhere deep in the jungle, the Spinosaurus senses the magnitude of what is coming. Its bellow shakes water and mud alike, announcing defiance. The predator looks skyward, eyes narrowing behind the mask. Its voice clicks softly, a private, alien acknowledgement. The hunt has only begun. Multiple apex hunters descend from orbit. The island braces, the battlefield expands, and the pulse of the beacon hums a relentless warning. Survival will no longer be optional. The canopy shivers. Isla Nublar has felt storms, volcanoes, and human folly, but nothing like this. From the clouds above, shadowed forms drop silently, falling through mist and rain in near-perfect synchronization. 1, 2, then dozens of them. Yautja, warriors of an alien code older than any predator on Earth. Their cloaks shimmer, blending with the foliage, their armor gleaming with ceremonial markings. Weapons hum softly, plasma casters glowing like cold fire in the dim light of the jungle. The ground trembles as they land. Feet, talons, and armored boots strike roots, cracked concrete, and flood waters with calculated grace. Every landing precise, every movement measured. Even the rivers seem to ripple around them, respecting the descent of hunters who treat this island as sacred ground. Below, dinosaurs freeze mid-step. Raptors crouch, nostrils flaring, eyes darting toward invisible threats. The Tyrannosaurus Rex roars from its ridge, sail raised, yet even it falters as infrared scans flicker across its massive body. This is no ordinary threat. Its dominance, the apex crown it has worn for years, is suddenly meaningless. A Yautja leaps down onto the riverbank, landing atop a half-submerged wall. Its mandibles flex beneath the mask as it studies the T-Rex, calculating attack vectors and weak points. Another hunter crouches in the canopy, wrist blades glinting, eyes locked on a herd of Brachiosaurus grazing nearby. Every dinosaur is now a potential target, part of a ritual hunt spanning species and centuries of evolution. The first kills are swift and brutal. Raptors scattered through the jungle vanish with only a flicker of heat in the predator's vision. Triceratops' horns are skewered in perfect arcs. Chains of alien technology slicing through armor-like hides. Even smaller predators, once emboldened by the absence of humans, flee in terror. The jungle fills with roars and hissing, punctuated by alien clicks and the sizzling discharge of plasma. High above, the original predator crouches on a shattered beam, observing its kin. Its visor flickers, scanning patterns of dominance and hierarchy. This was never meant to be a solitary hunt. The island is being claimed, catalogued, and cleansed in a systematic display of lethal tradition. Every movement, every kill, a lesson, a ritual, a test. The T-Rex bellows again, stomping the earth, tail slamming through debris, yet its sound is drowned beneath the coordinated precision of the alien hunters. One leaps onto its back, plasma caster scorching flesh and muscle. The Tyrannosaurus lashes wildly, snapping at the intruder, but even its sheer strength cannot overcome the Yautja's tactics. A wrist spear sinks deep, marking it not just wounded, but challenged. The Spinosaurus rises from its river stronghold, sensing the swarm of hunters. It thrashes violently, jaws snapping, sail flexing. The Yautja respond in unison, moving like a living machine. Nets, spears, plasma, every weapon finds its mark. The river churns red with blood as the fight escalates beyond survival into a display of raw alien precision. The jungle itself becomes a battlefield. Trees crash under tail strikes, leaves scatter in winds carved by thrashing limbs and plasma beams. Fog and mist twist around broken beams, jagged concrete, and rippling water, hiding hunters and hunted alike until the final strike. Every predator on the island now reacts to the unseen apex, the Yautja. Above it all, the original predator steps forward, clicking softly under its mask. Mandibles flex in anticipation. Every step taken is deliberate, a silent command to its brethren. The hunt has become not a solitary proving ground, but a coordinated ritual of apex dominance. And the dinosaurs, once rulers, are reduced to prey, their roars echoes against alien precision. And in the distance, the T-Rex locks eyes with the predator, nostrils flaring, roar booming, a challenge, a defiance. But even as it bellows, a plasma beam scorches its flank, forcing it to stagger. The apex of Earth is no longer untouchable. From the canopy to the riverbank, every hunter moves in tandem. Every strike is part of a pattern. Every kill a message. Isla Nublar trembles beneath claws, teeth, and alien armor. The island itself will never recover. The jungle goes silent momentarily as the hunters regroup, scanning for any remaining threats. Even the Spinosaurus hesitates, its massive head turning slowly toward the predator, standing atop a ruined wall, mandibles flexing beneath the mask. Its gaze is a promise. The hunt is far from over. And somewhere deep in the mist, the humans who survived, or thought they had, understand at last. The apex of this world is no longer theirs to witness. The Yautja have arrived. The ritual has begun. The hunt has just escalated beyond imagination. The island screams. Smoke rises from shattered trees, twisted metal, and cracked concrete. Isla Nublar, once a sanctuary of life and human ambition, now burns under alien precision. The predator hunting party moves methodically, cloaks shimmering in the dying light, weapons humming with lethal intent. Every step leaves devastation, pools of red in the flooded ruins, scorched earth where vegetation once thrived, and bones scattered like trophies of a war no one imagined. The air smells of ozone, blood, and burning flora. Raptors that once stalked in packs lie motionless in shallow water, their small bodies riddled with micronet punctures and plasma burns. Triceratops herds, now leaderless and terrified, have been culled systematically, horns skewered, flesh torn with unerring accuracy. Even the smaller creatures, Compsognathus Dilophosaurus, disappear in seconds, hunted down with surgical efficiency. High above, the original predator crouches atop a shattered observation tower, surveying the devastation. Its mandibles click softly beneath the mask. The sensors flicker, thermal overlays showing nothing but heatless remnants where life once pulsed. The hunter tilts its head, registering that the hunt has escalated beyond sport. This is obliteration, a ritual of extinction. Rivers once teeming with rippling reflections of dinosaurs, churn red as the Spinosaurus's kin are driven into the waters, hunted with nets and plasma. The hunter's wrist cannon fires in controlled bursts, precision strikes that leave nothing alive, every movement calculated, every target neutralized. The jungle itself trembles beneath the combined weight of claws, armor, and alien firepower. Yet, even as the island falls into ruin, one presence resists annihilation. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, battered from previous battles, limps through the smoke, roaring defiance. Its massive feet tear into mud and shattered concrete, every step leaving a tremor. Scars and burns mar its flesh, ribs protrude through jagged wounds, and one eye flickers with pain. But still, it moves. The predator hunting party takes notice. A Yautja drops silently from the canopy, plasma caster raised, scanning for weakness. The T-Rex swings its massive tail, catching the hunter mid-air, sending sparks of energy scattering across twisted steel. The hunter recovers, landing nimbly on a ruined stairwell, observing, calculating. The beast's resilience defies expectation. This is not just prey, it is a survivor. The island shakes under their conflict. Trees splinter under the force of strikes. The river churns violently, and mist swirls like ghostly fingers around shattered ruins. Every roar, every mechanical hiss, every pulse of alien energy reverberates across the landscape. Birds flee in terrified flocks. Even the Spinosaurus, watching from the distance, pauses, sensing a predator that cannot be easily toppled. The Tyrannosaurus bellows again, a sound that cuts through fire and chaos. It moves with purpose now, limping but determined, eyes locked on the nearest hunter. One predator lunges, plasma caster glowing, wrist blades extended, but the T-Rex sidesteps with surprising agility, tail smashing a fallen tower into splinters, sending the alien flying into the floodwaters. The remaining Yautja regroup, cloaks shimmering in the dying light, weaponry adjusting. They move as a coordinated machine, circling the beast, testing, probing, striking, and retreating. But every strike meets resistance. Every calculated assault is met with raw, relentless power. The predator, observing from above, tilts its head, mandibles flexing beneath the mask. The T-Rex is not just alive, it is adapting. Calculations scroll across the visor. Wound patterns, movement vectors, energy expenditure. The hunter clicks softly, almost contemplative. The apex of Earth refuses to fall quietly. Rivers run red, forests smolder, and the ground is scarred with alien firepower. Entire populations of dinosaurs lie motionless, victims of unmatched precision and brutality. The ecosystem teeters on the brink, poised to collapse entirely. Yet one titan, one creature, refuses to submit. Its roar shakes the air, a declaration that life persists, even in the face of extinction. High above, distant clouds shift, hinting at more arrivals. Sensors flare on the predator's visor as heat signatures appear faintly through the mist. This battle, this massacre, is far from over. The hunt has escalated, and Isla Nublar teeters between annihilation and the stubborn defiance of its last apex predator. The T-Rex stands, wounded but unbowed, eyes glowing with primal fury. Every Yautja in the vicinity recognizes it. This is no ordinary hunt. This is survival. And somewhere in the alien mind, a new respect forms. The extinction event is underway, but the island's final king is not yet down. The jungle trembles with a renewed heartbeat. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, battered, scarred, and drenched in rain and blood, moves through the ruined ruins with a singular purpose. Each step shakes the ground, sending mud, water, and shattered debris flying into the air. Its massive jaw snaps repeatedly, a sound that reverberates like thunder, echoing off broken towers and flooded concrete. The remaining Yautja hunters pause, sensing something primal yet calculated in the movements of the last apex predator of Isla Nublar. From the canopy, a predator's cloak flickers as it watches, tracking every muscle, every eye flick, every tail sweep. The T-Rex pauses at the edge of a collapsed walkway, nostrils flaring, scanning the perimeter, then without warning it charges. A wave of raw power, teeth bared, claws tearing the earth. The first Yautja in its path barely manages a leap to the side as tail smashes the tree behind it into splinters. Rain cascades from broken branches like molten silver as the beast moves with terrifying precision. One predator fires a plasma caster, but the T-Rex anticipates the trajectory, twisting mid-charge. The energy beam strikes a wall behind the beast, sending concrete shards and sparks into the stormy sky. The dinosaur crashes through the ruins, ripping steel and wood from the wreckage, turning the battlefield into chaos. Each footfall a declaration. This is not surrender, it is defiance. The remaining Yautja regroup, moving with lethal synchronization. One flanks the beast from a flooded trench, wrist blades extended, mandibles flexing in anticipation. But the T-Rex pivots, jaws snapping, catching the alien by the shoulder and sending it flying into a collapsed observation tower. It crashes through debris with a metallic clang, armor dented, plasma flickering. The T-Rex bellows triumphantly, a roar of fury and survival that shakes even the riverbanks. High above, the alpha predator observes from a jagged ridge. Its mandibles flex beneath the mask, calculating, analyzing, anticipating. The hunter's visor flickers, overlaying strike patterns, muscle fatigue, and potential weak points. For the first time, it watches a creature not merely survive, but actively challenge the apex of alien hunters. Respect and caution threads through its calculations. The T-Rex moves like a living weapon, ambushing from the shadows, using ruined buildings, floodwaters, and fallen trees as cover. Raptors that had survived the purge dart from behind mangled beams, joining in instinctive coordination with the T-Rex. They leap at unsuspecting hunters, teeth sinking into armor, claws ripping through cloaks. The predator party falters, momentarily caught off guard by the raw, untamed intelligence of Earth's last apex predator. The jungle itself becomes a living ally. Rain pools churn violently as the T-Rex forces hunters through narrow channels, smashing walls that collapse into the path of attackers. Mud, water, and debris fly in every direction, obscuring senses and vision. Plasma beams strike rocks and trees, igniting clouds of steam and smoke that hang like phantom specters over the battlefield. Every corner, every shadow is weaponized. One predator, separated from the others, stalks closer, wrist blades extended, calculating the strike. The T-Rex senses it, eyes flaring, jaw snapping shut mere inches from the attack. With a surge of power, it spins, its tail sweeping the hunter off its feet, sending them skidding across shattered concrete into a pool of murky water. The hunter struggles, weaponry sparking and hissing, but the dinosaur is already moving on, unstoppable. The alpha predator descends from its ridge, landing softly, observing from above as the T-Rex systematically dismantles the coordinated hunt. Mandibles flexing, it studies patterns, noting adaptations, learning from raw aggression married with instinct. The beast is intelligent, cunning, and relentless. It is not just fighting, it is rewriting the rules of survival on this island. The jungle holds its breath. Rain lashes sideways in sheets, rivers surge over broken banks, and the air fills with the clash of alien technology and primal fury. The T-Rex bellows a roar that challenges every hunter, every predator, every creature that dares claim dominance. Even the Spinosaurus, watching from the distant river, stirs uneasily, sensing a force that refuses to yield. The alpha predator tilts its head, mandibles click softly beneath the mask. Its vision lingers on the Tyrannosaurus Rex, noting scars, blood, and unbroken spirit. For the first time, it recognizes not just prey, but a worthy adversary. The hunt, once a ritual of dominance, has transformed into something else, a battle for survival, respect, and the claim of true apex status. And as storm clouds swirl overhead, lightning slicing the sky, the last T-Rex stands among the ruins, muscles trembling with exertion, eyes gleaming with defiance, roaring into the tempest. The apex of Earth refuses to bow. The alpha predator watches, silent, calculating, knowing the rules of the hunt have changed. The final chapter for Isla Nublar's ruler is far from written, and the island itself trembles at what comes next. Rain still lashes Isla Nublar, rivers surging through the flooded ruins, but a strange stillness follows the storm's fury. The battlefield is littered with the scars of combat, shattered concrete, splintered trees, scorched earth. And yet, amid the devastation, the Tyrannosaurus Rex stands, chest heaving, claws dug deep into mud, eyes blazing with unbroken defiance. Above, the alpha predator perches on a jagged ridge, visor flaring softly as it surveys the carnage below. Its armor bears scratches, dents, and scorch marks from earlier clashes, yet its posture is regal, deliberate, commanding. The hunter observes the T-Rex with a measure of reverence, analyzing every movement, every calculated strike from the previous skirmish. This creature, this apex of Earth, is not mere prey. It is worthy. The alpha clicks softly, a sound carried across the ruined jungle by subtle vibrations only the other Yautja can perceive. The signal is unmistakable. Halt the hunt. respect the apex. The other hunters pause mid-step, their movements frozen, as if time itself has acknowledged the decree. For the T-Rex, instinct senses the shift. Its growl softens, nostrils flaring, tail swishing cautiously. Every muscle remains coiled, yet there is an understanding, a fragile accord has emerged between alien predator and terrestrial king. The air seems to hum with unspoken respect, the jungle holding its breath, watching. Yet not all predators obey. From the canopy, one younger, unblooded hunter hisses, mandibles flexing beneath its mask. Its plasma caster sparks, wrist blades flex. It is ambitious, eager, unwilling to yield to protocol or hierarchy. It descends towards the T-Rex with calculated menace, silent as shadowed mist, eyes locked on the wounded but unbowed apex. The alpha predator reacts instantly, a sharp leap, landing between the rogue and the T-Rex, mandibles clicking, armor flaring in warning, wrist blades extend in a precise, non-lethal display of authority. The subordinate halts, sensing the weight of command, but its defiance lingers, silent, simmering. Below, the T-Rex shifts, eyes narrowing, growl rumbling low in its throat. It senses tension, not just from the aliens, but from the precarious balance in the jungle itself. One misstep, one act of disobedience could shatter this fragile truce. Every footfall, every breath becomes a statement of survival, a test of respect. The storm clouds above crack with lightning, illuminating the battlefield in brief, violent flashes. Shadows twist across broken walls and flooded channels. Raptors that survived the massacre creep along the edges, observing from the mist, wary of both alien and dinosaur. Nature itself seems to recognize the delicate equilibrium taking shape. The alpha predator clicks again, mandibles flexing thoughtfully. Its visor overlays data on the rogue hunter, calculating behavior, aggression, and loyalty. In a fluid motion, it signals a restriction radius, a no-hunt zone around the T-Rex. Every Yautja's vision flickers with the order. No strike. Survival becomes conditional. Honor enforced by hierarchy, reinforced by lethal reputation. The rogue hunter hesitates, then moves along the periphery, cloak flickering, weapons ready but restrained. It watches the T-Rex with lingering hunger, mind calculating, planning, but for now, the code prevails. The alpha predator steps back onto the ridge, observing, vigilant, ensuring that respect is maintained. Below, the T-Rex exhales a rumbling growl, nostrils flaring, muscles tensing but relaxed. The jungle itself seems to exhale. Rivers surging gently over rubble, leaves shaking in the wind. A moment of uneasy peace descends, fragile yet potent, as apex predator and alien hunter acknowledge each other without bloodshed. But tension lingers. The rogue Yautja is not pacified. Its ambition simmers, a shadow in the balance. The T-Rex senses it, tail lashing slightly, eyes narrowing into the mist. Somewhere deep in the canopy, claws flex, plasma casters hum faintly, and the storm whispers of conflict yet to come. The alpha predator remains vigilant, mandibles flexing, eyes scanning. Honor has been enforced, but obedience is never guaranteed. The truce is real but tenuous, built on respect and fear alike. Lightning cracks across the horizon, illuminating the island in stark white, shadows stretching across broken walls and scorched earth. The T-Rex bellows, a sound of dominance and defiance echoing through the mist and ruins, carrying a warning to the jungle, to the hunters, and to all who would challenge it. The apex is still here. And somewhere, deep in the misted canopy, a pair of glowing Yautja eyes flicker with ambition. Not all predators obey. Not all codes are absolute. The balance is fragile, and the next move will decide whether honor or chaos prevails. The storm breaks again, thunder ripping across Isla Nublar as rain hammers the shattered ruins. The jungle quakes beneath a new, more insidious threat. The rogue predator, disobeying every code, stalks silently through the wreckage, armor slick with rain, mandibles flexing beneath the mask. Its eyes flicker to a small device strapped to its chest, a self-destruct mechanism capable of obliterating the entire island in a pulse of alien firepower. It steps onto a collapsed observation tower, scanning the horizon. Below, the T-Rex stands at the edge of a ruined riverbank, tail lashing, eyes narrowing, as if sensing an unseen malice. The alpha predator perches high above on a crumbling ridge, mandibles flexing in tension, visor scanning the rogue with overlays highlighting its trajectory, weapon systems, and imminent detonation risk. The rogue hisses under its breath, the low growl vibrating through the mask, and presses a sequence of controls. The device hums, glowing ominously, pulsing with destructive potential. The jungle trembles as the air itself seems to thicken, charged with heat and electricity. Vines whip violently, rivers churn, and the ground shakes beneath the combined weight of creatures and alien machinery. The T-Rex bellows, a roar of warning and defiance, muscles tensing, claws gripping mud and concrete. Raptors hiding in shadowed ruins scatter, sensing the escalating danger. Every surviving dinosaur stiffens, nostrils flaring, instincts screaming. This is not merely a predator hunting, it is extinction incarnate. The alpha predator descends from its ridge in a calculated leap, landing between the rogue and the T-Rex. Armor scrapes against jagged steel. Plasma flickers across wet foliage. But the hunter remains focused, mandibles clicking in rapid, precise warning. The rogue hisses, spinning toward the alpha, wrist blades flexing, refusing to yield. Its device pulses faster, the hum rising to a menacing crescendo. Time compresses, rain lashes sideways, mud sprays as both Yautja face off. The T-Rex roars again, tail smashing into a fallen beam, sending shards of metal and wood skittering toward the combatants. The rogue lunges, striking with violent precision, but the alpha deflects, knocking it off balance without lethal intent. The self-destruct pulses brighter. Its energy radiates in faint shockwaves, cracking concrete, rattling trees, and raising the temperature of the already humid jungle. Even the Spinosaurus lurking downstream senses the danger, thrashing violently, water cascading around its massive legs. Survival instincts flare in every living creature left on the island. The alpha predator clicks sharply, mandibles flexing beneath the mask. Calculations flash across its visor, projecting detonation timelines, blast radii, and probable casualties. Its choice is clear but unthinkable. A single action could neutralize the rogue and save the T-Rex, or sacrifice both in a blaze of honor and destruction. Without hesitation, the alpha leaps atop the rogue, tackling it to the ground with immense force. Armor collides with armor, sparks flying, rain hissing as metal meets metal. The rogue screams, a sound that pierces the storm, struggling to trigger the device further. But the alpha clamps its mandibles on a control module, disabling it with brutal precision. A pulse of light flashes as a backup mechanism, attempts to activate, but the alpha's claws shred the circuitry, sparks scattering across the mud. The device dies, hissing into silence. The jungle exhales, though the tension lingers thick as fog. The T-Rex, sensing the resolution, lowers its head slightly, nostrils flaring, muscles trembling, not in fear, but in acknowledgement. The rogue predator writhes beneath the alpha's grip, mandibles clicking in fury and frustration. Rain cascades over both hunters as the alpha rises, dragging the insubordinate toward the edge of the floodwaters. With a final flex of strength, it hurls the rogue into the river's churning depths. The device's threat extinguished, the water churns violently, swallowing the rogue beneath currents and debris. The storm begins to abate. Lightning flickers across the horizon, illuminating ruined observation towers, the shattered concrete, and the battered but unbroken jungle. The Alpha stands over the river, mandibles flexing in quiet authority, visor scanning for residual threats. The T-Rex bellows once more, a declaration that survival is not yet over, that the apex remains unbroken. Raptors and smaller dinosaurs creep from cover, hesitating, sensing that the balance has shifted. The rogue threat has been eliminated, but the jungle itself bears scars of near annihilation. Every creature left, alien or terrestrial, recognizes the precariousness of life in this transformed ecosystem. The alpha predator finally steps back from the river, eyes lingering on the T-Rex, acknowledging it silently. Respect has been enforced, the rogue punished, and the island spared from total destruction. But the tension remains. Honor has been preserved, but trust is fragile, and Isla Nublar knows that one spark could ignite chaos once again. As rain subsides into a mist, the Alpha glances toward the distant canopy, sensors scanning the horizon. Somewhere in the storm, in the ruins, in the depths of the rivers, the island's survivors, human, dinosaur, and alien alike, sense that the final betrayal has been averted, but only just. The hunt is far from over, and the reckoning is only beginning. Smoke and ash rise from the jungle like mournful spirits. Isla Nublar is scarred, a battlefield littered with shattered trees, smouldering ruins, and the remnants of lives both alien and terrestrial. The T-Rex stands at the edge of a flooded ravine, muscles tense, tail sweeping slowly through debris. Rain falls in heavy sheets, each drop sizzling as it hits the scorched earth, carrying the lingering scent of ozone, blood, and molten metal. Above, the alpha predator moves with deliberate precision, cloak flickering through the mist. Its visor scans the battlefield, overlaying potential hazards, heat signatures, and blast radii. The rogue device, though disabled once, has triggered a secondary failsafe, timed to detonate in minutes. The jungle itself seems to quiver with anticipation, aware of the threat hanging over every living creature. The Alpha pauses atop a ruined communications tower, mandibles flexing beneath the mask. Sensors flash red, showing the impending blast radius. Calculations scroll rapidly. Escape is impossible. Intervention requires action, and only one being can contain the destruction. The hunter's chest plate glows faintly, energy pulsing in rhythm with the heartbeat of the island. Lightning streaks across the sky, illuminating the flooded ruins below. The T-Rex lifts its head, nostrils flaring, eyes scanning for movement in the storm. It senses the Alpha's intention, a silent understanding passing between predator and apex of Earth. There is no hesitation. Instinct and honor intertwine. With a leap that shakes the crumbling tower, the Alpha lands near the device, armor scraping across shattered concrete. Mandibles click sharply, claws gripping the edge as it secures the mechanism. Plasma pulses from wrist blades, slicing through access panels with surgical precision. Sparks fly, raining into puddles of water, steam rising in violent plumes. Every motion is deliberate, every calculation exact. But there is no escape once the containment sequence begins. The T-Rex watches from below, growl low and steady, tail lashing as if marking the perimeter. Raptors peek from hidden cover, uncertain but sensing the momentous act unfolding. Even the distant Spinosaurus stirs, watching from the flooded river, sensing the apex predator's final stand. The alpha predator activates the device's containment override, forcing the failsafe into a stable but sacrificial energy state. Its visor flares bright, chest plate glowing like a miniature sun. The energy hums, vibrations coursing through armor and through the very bones of the island. Mandibles flex beneath the mask as it emits a final low-clicking sequence, an alien salute to honor, to hunt, to life itself. Plasma energy arcs around the device, illuminating the jagged ruins in stark, flickering flashes. The Alpha leans forward, absorbing the brunt of the containment field. Sparks ignite nearby puddles, steam rising as electricity dances across metal and mud. Rain hammers the armor, sizzling against plasma discharge. Every muscle is coiled, resisting the pull of the impending explosion. The jungle seems to exhale, holding its breath. Trees sway violently, rivers churn, and every surviving dinosaur senses the shift. The T-Rex bellows, a roar both mournful and triumphant, echoing across shattered towers and flooded channels. Its growl merges with thunder, as if the island itself mourns the hunter's inevitable fate. The alpha predator locks one final glance toward the T-Rex, mandibles flexing, visor dimming slightly. Honor has been upheld. The hunt is preserved. The apex of Earth will survive. A soft hiss escapes the hunter's mask, almost human in tone, almost reverent. Then the containment field surges fully, a concentrated pulse of energy that bathes the ruined tower in white-hot light. Sparks scatter into the rain, concrete cracks, and the device hums violently. The Alpha leans into the energy, body rigid, sacrificing itself to stabilize the explosion. A final pulse ripples outward, shaking the river, toppling half-collapsed structures and sending shockwaves through the jungle. Seconds stretch like hours, then silence. The light dims. Rain falls gently now, steam rising from puddles and mud. The jungle is battered but intact, its ecosystem scarred yet enduring. Trees begin to stir, rivers settle, and distant raptors creep from cover. Cautiously, as if sensing the balance restored. The T-Rex stands at the edge of the ruins, chest heaving, muscles trembling from exertion and rain. Its roar is long, low, and resonant, a victory cry, a mourning for the hunter, a warning to all that apex dominance is earned and protected. The surviving dinosaurs stir, reclaiming shadows and hiding places, sensing the end of one terror and the continuation of life. And somewhere in the misted canopy, a faint shimmer flickers, memory or reflection of the fallen Alpha, a sentinel who sacrificed all to preserve honor, survival, and the hunt. The jungle exhales slowly, beginning to heal. The scars are deep, the cost irreversible. But life endures. The apex of Earth stands, watching, waiting, alive. The first light of dawn cuts through the mist like a blade, illuminating Isla Nublar in soft gold and silver. The jungle, battered but alive, exhales in quiet relief. Waterfalls tumble over fractured cliffs, rivers ripple through flooded valleys, and the cries of surviving dinosaurs echo, cautious but triumphant. The T-Rex moves through the undergrowth, massive feet sinking into mud, muscles coiling with renewed authority. Its eyes, once haunted by the predator's relentless hunt, now gleam with a wary, hard-earned sovereignty. Above the canopy, the remaining Yautja patrol silently, cloaks blending with the mist. Their forms flicker in and out of view, visors scanning, weapons sheathed, movements calculated. The Alpha is gone, sacrificed to uphold honor, yet the hunting party carries the legacy forward. Each hunter glances at the jungle below with reverence and restraint, a silent acknowledgement of life endured, and a warning etched into instinct. Isla Nublar is now forbidden ground. Below, the T-Rex pauses atop a ruined observation tower, tail swishing through broken metal, nostrils flaring, surveying the surviving raptors weaving through the jungle. Even the Spinosaurus, lurking near the flooded river, lumbers cautiously from the shadows, eyes sharp but unthreatened. A fragile hierarchy has emerged, shaped by fire, blood, and sacrifice. The apex predator of Earth stands, not dominant, not unchecked, but alive, respected by forces far older and deadlier than itself. In the distance, the ruins of the once grand park glimmer under the rising sun. Shattered walls, twisted metal, and flooded corridors whisper of chaos and death. But life pushes through cracks and mud. Green shoots sprout over concrete, vines curl around debris, and the water teems with fish and insects, reminders that the world continues, even after near annihilation. The Yautja linger at the tree line, observing yet not interfering. Their cloaks shimmer briefly as they rise into the sky on silent, calculated leaps, leaving barely a ripple in the mist. One of them pauses mid-ascent, mandibles flexing, visor recording, before giving the final signal. The planet, this island, is no longer a hunting ground to be conquered or exploited. A code has been etched into memory, one of respect, caution, and remembrance. High above, in the dark void of orbit, streaks of heat signatures flare across monitors within an alien craft. Data streams, etched in a language of light and sound, log the events below. Every kill, every struggle, every act of honor and defiance is recorded. Earth is no longer prey, the report concludes. The T-Rex, the apex of a world that survived, is proof that life cannot be conquered by violence alone. The data pulses through alien systems, reaching the farthest edges of Yautja space, a record of respect for an unbroken predator. Back on the island, the T-Rex bellows, a long resonant call that shakes the trees and ripples across water. The sound carries to the farthest reaches of the jungle, answered by raptors, by Spinosaurus, by creatures that survived the purge. There is caution in their cries, a wariness that speaks of memory, but also a stubborn resilience. Isla Nublar breathes once more, a wounded but alive world. The sunlight intensifies, glinting off flooded ruins, highlighting shards of metal and broken glass. Raptors emerge from cover, hesitating before joining the T-Rex atop the observation tower. There is a sense of alliance born not from friendship, but from survival, mutual respect earned through carnage and understanding. Even the jungle itself seems to pulse with new life. Rivers widening, leaves unfurling, the air carrying the scent of renewal and lingering danger alike. Above the canopy, the last Yautja move as one. Cloaks flicker, silhouettes blending with the storm clouds receding in the distance. A final click resonates through alien translation. This world will remain untouched, observed but forbidden, honored for its apex predator, respected for the creatures who survived. The T-Rex lowers its massive head, nostrils flaring, tail coiling across the ruin-strewn ground. Eyes lock on the horizon, alert, unyielding, aware that challenges may come again, but also confident that it and the world it rules will endure. A quiet calm spreads, a rare piece stitched together by blood, sacrifice, and the recognition of strength. And somewhere, beyond the reach of the sun, the stars witness it all. A record is logged, data streaming into the vast network of hunters. Earth is no longer prey. The jungle hums with life, echoing with lessons learned. Survival is earned, honors remembered, and even in devastation, a world can endure. The camera drifts upward, past the treetops, over flooded ruins and winding rivers, and into the endless expanse of space. Isla Nublar lies quiet beneath the mist, scars of battle fading into green, rivers flowing with new purpose. Apex predators roam, hunters are gone, and life, tenacious, unpredictable, eternal, continues. The story of the hunt, of honor, and of survival has ended, but the memory of it will echo forever.